It is a town without residents, except, of course, for the wild horses, greater short-horned lizards, pronghorn, and desert wildflowers. This beautiful place in Wyoming's southern Red Desert near the Colorado state line is called Adobe Town, a town constructed of sandstone pinnacles and arches and towering hoodoos.
Right now we're in the middle of Adobe Town, which is the crown jewel of Wyoming's Red Desert, and this is one of their most remote places in the American West.
Once a hideout for outlaws, Adobe Town now attracts hikers and hunters looking for a wilderness experience. Conservationist Eric Mulvar first visited Adobe Town while researching a guidebook.
Even after spending 10 years writing books about the most spectacular national parks in the West, this was the place that I felt was the most deserving of conservation attention.
So Mulvar has been pushing to expand wilderness protections for Adobe Town and other proposed wilderness areas across Wyoming's Red Desert. But oil and gas companies want access to these federal lands to drill underground reserves of natural gas, a cleaner burning fuel that could be used to help the nation cut its carbon footprint.
The U.S. has more than 2,000 trillion cubic feet of natural gas supply, and much of that falls on federal land in the Intermountain West.
Lands like Adobe Town and Wyoming's greater Red Desert. The federal government has put a portion of Adobe Town off limits to drilling in the short term by designating it as a wilderness study area. But Mulvar says that's not enough.
This is really all about balance. Here in Adobe Town, if we protected all of Adobe Town and all the other proposed wildernesses in the Red Desert, it would be about 15% of the public lands that would be off limits to oil and gas drilling. And it's the 15% that has the lowest potential for oil and natural gas production.
But oil and gas companies object to Mulvar's push to expand wilderness boundaries. They say the Adobe Town Wilderness Study Area is already big enough.
The buffers of a wilderness study area, or for that matter, any federal national park or wilderness area, the buffer areas are implied to be on the inside of that boundary. Otherwise, what's the point of having a boundary area?
Oil and gas companies don't want to see more of the Red Desert closed to drilling. They say the Obama administration needs to keep these lands open if they're serious about developing cleaner sources of energy and securing energy independence. For Assignment Earth, this is Bruce Burkhardt.